Thank you very much, and I too am enjoying this. I hail from Connecticut, where this is core to what we do, both with large and small manufacturers, but particularly small manufacturers. So there are a couple of points I wanted to follow up on, and probably start with you, Mr. Muro. Both on vouchers, which we've been talking about. Connecticut is one of those states that with the Connecticut Next program, we are test driving vouchers. So I know you know a little bit something about that, and if you could share with us what other states are doing around vouchers, what's been the experience so far, what could we learn and incorporate into our legislation to make it more effective? That's question number one. Question number two, which a number of you have touched on, is this important of regionalization? It's something we're looking to do in Connecticut and in New England on our sectors, both on biotech, biomed, and manufacturing. I'm increasingly of the view that that interaction between universities, small companies, and large companies, and our technical high schools, which we haven't even mentioned, and our community colleges, to create an ecosystem for this innovation. So if you could talk about that importance of having them really in fairly tight proximity and what we could look for, and what role the federal government might play in facilitating those regional hubs without picking winners and losers, which I know we're all very concerned about, and yet if you don't have a critical mass, you're not going to get those synergies, which frankly the cotton gin came from Connecticut. It was those synergies and water power that helped develop our first industrial revolution. Thank you.
First, I'll note that the major experiments with vouchers have been European to date. You in Iowa are the new experiments in this country, so there's not a lot of U.S. experience to fall back on. We think it is a deeply American solution. We should have piloted and invented this rather than our European competitors, because it respects the anarchic aspect, the organic aspect, and the fast-moving aspect of this kind of technology exchange that needs to occur. I would stress simplicity, quickness. You want to. They are a fast. They should be a fast, direct way of getting support to SMEs, and the administration has to be kept lean and simple. And we know that to some extent federal administration doesn't inherently lean that way. So I think but I think it's an important experiment. I would just say the ecosystem side, this discussion has really blossomed in the last 5 years, and I think I think the literature is increasingly confirming that there are innovation and entrepreneurship benefits to density, and I would stress a couple aspects. I don't think we should think in terms of inventing clusters or creating them. They are an organic fact of how the economy works. So we should acknowledge that they exist and then have policy flow behind that. So I think, again, bottom-up challenges to regions to propose great cluster initiatives and provide the performance management is the way to do this. And I think, we've seen across EDA, across the Department of Commerce, NSF as well. We've seen more and more interest in these challenges to bottom-up regions. So I think we shouldn't really think of moving firms around. We shouldn't think of creating density, but we should think of respecting it and suggesting it's a value. So thanks a lot. Yeah.
I believe clusters and a regional emphasis is absolutely critical. I come from arguably the largest innovation cluster in the world in Silicon Valley, and I can encourage my students to join a startup and take a risk, because if it does not succeed, there are many other opportunities. The forces of capitalist creative destruction are no more evident than in Silicon Valley. Clusters don't occur spontaneously. I think they do need a seed in which they can grow, and I think the government can provide that seed funding. But what is critical is that there be opportunities other than, so that students and employees can take that risk and join small companies that just have a different risk profile than some of the larger companies. So clusters and regional emphasis, I think, are critical.
Yeah, quickly, it's always been intriguing to me that we're in an age of virtual co-location. You know, every company I had, we had 10, 20 engineering and R&D sites around the world, all communicating in webcast. But if you peel that onion, and I think we all believed, okay, we will have the best people, individuals sitting around the world, somehow merging into this coherent entity. And I think that dream did not materialize because we still need some physical presence. And so I think the key to it, and this was part of what came out in the NNMI workshops, have a regional flavor in terms of what you want the proposal to be. But do not pick the technology. Do not pick the industry. Distribute them, let them have national impact, regional flavor, but let the particular technology and industry self-assemble. I think the clusters are ready to form.